Flavors of Blue class taught by me and a variety of people, with Allison in particular today, at Tuesday Lab during the month of May. And this is the first week of the series, and we went over groovin' and jukin' blues. Groovin' blues we described as a relatively smooth dance, a lot of smooth, relatively stationary movement, a lot of hip sways, and fishtails, and a smooth motion. We also went over during the groovin' lesson the liquid hips exercise, as we like to call it, which is basically having your arms spread or in with your elbows out to make sure that you don't tip one direction or another. And you want to move over with, keep your weight on one foot, move your chest over first, and take a step, and then bring your hips over. And then move over your chest, step, and hips. And the purpose of this exercise is to make sure that you are able to isolate your chest from your hips so that you can do these motions a lot easier and a lot smoother with more control. You can do it the same way with juking, which I will describe in a minute. Is there anything else that you want to add here? Cool. And they're basically the same thing with a partner or individual. Juking, on the other hand, is a lot more sharp. So you're going to have a lot of sharp movements, a lot of powerful, a lot more janky lines. And we also went over a couple of different syncopations. So one that we went over specifically is a scuff, step, hips, scuff, step, hip, hip, scuff, step, hip, scuff, step, hip, hip. Cool? And then you can work in other things. Another one that I mentioned in the class is that you can do a scuff, step, wiggle, wiggle. Or any other variation that you can think of that has a different isolation of your body in addition to some different variation that you're doing. It's just putting both of them together at the same time. Cool? And then the liquid hips exercise works for that same thing. If you have your weight over on your right foot and you've got your arms up, and you move your chest over, you take your step, and then you just take your hips and you just kind of like shove them across really quickly to make the sharp movement for juking. Cool? And then we had you guys listen to music a couple of times and realize that you can do both groovin' and juking to the same types of songs. We played Muddy Water Blues by Paul Rogers, I believe, was the last song that I played. Has a relatively smooth tone, but it has sharp enough beats that you can do something jukin' to it. Good song to practice to, wonderful song to listen to, but realizing that you can do both groovin' and jukin' blues, which is something that we're going to be talking about throughout the rest of this series. Cool? And that's the video recap for groovin' and jukin' blues.